Good afternoon, everyone. It is our final webinar. We've had, at least 4 weeks? We have 1 more week to go, at least 2 more weeks to go. 4 weeks, which is quite long. And I do understand that students have a lot going for them, even if they are out of class, because some of them are on break right now. And we do appreciate your effort and your time. I know some share that they have classes are clashing. Next year, when we run the program, we'll be mindful of all of that to make sure we get a larger contingent of the classroom. This afternoon, we have 2 dynamic women who will join you. And I'm glad to see the young men showing up, because this is not only about women farmers in agriculture, but we're also talking sustainability. And you will hear from Bevon, who I found out on the internet, actually. She received an award, a Commonwealth Award, and I'm saying, oh, this young lady, not easy. Let me see who she is. And I reached out and asked her to speak on one of Genesis' webinar in 2021, The Big Business of Agriculture, and absolutely just blew us all away. So today, those who are here and those who will hear this recording after the session, expect to be inspired. And not just inspired, because she will be sharing tidbits and lessons and highlights and challenges and how she's overcome. So prepare to be inspired and prepare to be ready to execute a better plan for your organization. We also have with us Esthy Ama Asante. She is Ghanaian. She will be joining us as one of the panelists. And we have a student panelist, a student representative from the student body, Miss Wendy Ann. She will join us a little bit later. But today we will start with Bevon. She's a serial entrepreneur, agripreneur, farmer, youth, and sustainable development advocate. The recipe for success: practice what you preach and preach what you have already practiced. Love it. Building a strong foundation for your dreams. Only you can truly understand what it is you want. With agriculture at the forefront of her goals, understanding that with time, change is inevitable. She has embarked on a quest to create change and development. She's seen the ugly and the beauty of farming and still gets a thrill whilst walking out onto hard-packed mud, the chill Caribbean breeze sweeping through cocoa and nutmeg trees, leaving behind a fang taste of raw rich spices in its wake. I need to ask you to write my bio. Agriculture needs to be revolutionized. That youth needs to be given the opportunity to use innovative technologies and the ability to meet the challenge now faced with the global food industry. Still growing and developing its mission, and the main objective is to see the future of Grenada bright and prosperous through sustainable agriculture. She is passionate and concerned about the well-being of youths of her island and the Caribbean, as well as strengthen to achieve regional integration. She knows Grenada, her land of birth, can become self-sufficient if and only if the human resources, the people, are developed and enhanced. I know it can be achieved through hard work and sincerity. I want to see Grenada become independent on her own, and one way to do that is by growth and development of our human resources. I hand over to Ms. Bevon Shadell Charles. The floor is yours.
Thank you. I can't remember writing the bio. I am blown away as well.
Well done.
Thank you so much. Hello, Ghana. Thank you. Thank you. It's always a pleasure, a humble appreciation to be asked anytime to share my story and my challenges of how I became to become who I am. I'm a farmer. I am an entrepreneur. I advocate for youth development, sustainability. I'm an innovator and I'm a creator. I think based on my bio, you see I'm doing a lot and I'm trying to make change. I'm ready for change, but sustainable change. I come from a very small island, 133 square miles, really small, 113,000 people. But here's the thing about it. We have 350,000 people living outside of Grenada who are Grenadians, right? So we have this brain drain. And we have talent, but not opportunity. We have issues just like any other country, but solutions is not often given, or the space to create solution is not often given to the youth. And power and authority is being held by, I'll be frank, the old people, the old people. I mean, we need them, but they are the ones with the experience and the knowledge. But ideas in terms of the way the world is now, the challenges that we face have to be given to the young people. I think we see things differently. We see things for the next generation to come. But how do we create that change? How do we create that space? So I took it upon myself to look really deep, not just on a national level for my country, but my household and my community. They were my first customers, actually. What were the challenges they were facing? How do a single mother who's working a 9 to 5 and barely making an income to feed her family, how do a youth drop out of school because they're not academically inclined? Is the world, or the life should be just over? No. So for me, these are the challenges in any society that we are going to face. But how can I use something that everyone needs to create a solution? And that need is food and agriculture. I grew up in agriculture because my father is a farmer, and he is like majority of farmers, traditional thinking, waking up 5 o'clock in the morning, going to the land and toiling and not seeing the results that your labor, seeing the result that you put in your labor. And for him, it was very frustrating. I grew up in that setting where I saw the beauty of it. I saw when he went to work and he came home, and my mother would prepare the lunch meals on a Sunday, those beautiful tomatoes and bell peppers and organic meat. But I didn't understand that there was a process, the challenges, the obstacle that he faced, until he got to the table that I was able to consume without reservation. I was just like being enticed. This food I will eat. Until I sat down to myself and I said to myself, well, let me go to the farm. And mind you, my farm was already operating, but I was more of a supervising. Let me tell him what to do and create that model what I want. Until I said, let me go out and spend a day doing the labor. I'm not going to lie to you. I last maybe an hour. And then I was like sitting down there like, nah, that's enough for me. And I said to myself, and I looked at my father, who just shook his head, and I said, he has been doing this for 50 years without complaint. And I just couldn't last an hour. I mean, I'm saying this to say, even though we have the same end game, the journey doesn't have to be similar. And it will never be similar, because the way he saw agriculture is not the way I am seeing agriculture now. I am looking for efficiency. I'm looking for consistency. I'm looking for, if I want to get youth involved in agriculture, they're not going to do the traditional way. But even that is an obstacle in themselves. How do you educate that generation coming up? Not just with the knowledge to work the agriculture field, but the knowledge to feed themselves and to be responsible for your community. That's how I see it. You have to be responsible for what comes in and out of the community, what comes in and out of your children's mouth, how they eat, how they live. It's your responsibility. So how do I enforce that? How do I show that? And for me, it's leading by example. When people see me, they don't see a farmer until I explain to them. It's like, see my face, but if I know I'm Devon. Devon, everybody know is attached to agriculture. But when they see me in public, they'll say, okay, it's a nice dressed lady. She's not in agriculture, until I say, well, I'm Bevan Charles. And they're like, well, you're the farmer girl. They can't make the connection. And when I go to the schools and I do my awareness and I talk to them, I say, listen, I'm not asking you to, if you want to become a doctor, that's fine. But we need doctors in agriculture, in the sector as well. You could be a lawyer, right? I need lawyers right now. I need accountants. I need programmers to build my website and my software. I need specialists. But this, if we're looking in terms of Grenada, and I'm speaking about Grenada, you're from Ghana, you have to look in terms of what it is that your country needs. What is the challenges they're facing? How can you create a solution? And we all hear agriculture, so how can agriculture do that? Mick, I want to share a slide. Can I share my my slide? Okay, so let me know and then let me continue talking.
Yes, you can. You can do it now.
Okay, awesome. There it is, everybody. All right. So this is really brief. Talk about my dad and the reason why I got involved in agriculture. During the bio, you heard that I talk about the cocoa, and this is a memory for me because I remember I was 8 years old and I went to a school trip and I saw a woman dressed in folk culture dancing the cocoa. And in Grenada, we're known as the spice country of the world, because not just the import, but how we have stuck with our traditional way of doing our spices. So those large cocoa companies in Grenada, they still do practice the traditional way of polishing the cocoa. Instead of having the machinery, you'll have women dressed in full culture with drums and stuff, and they will walk along the racks of cocoa pods and polishing it and dance, right? And I remember standing there 8 years old, and I was just like, wow, I was blown away. Because this is history, and we are deeply tied with our colonial slavery and plantation life and stuff. That is a stain on our society that even now, we live in 2022, that there was half of my population that does not want to hear the word agriculture, and does not want to hear the word working on plantation. But this is our reality. If we have such high imports, and we talk about sustainability and for our country and our people, we have to learn to feed ourselves, and we have to do so consistently and productively, and while at the same time making money. I mean, I don't know why people think agriculture, you cannot get involved in agriculture and not make money. I don't know where to get this so far. But anyways, moving on. So apart from the work that I do at Akata Farms, and I will share with you what it is that we do there. I just want to bring up that, right? So Akata Farms, and I mentioned before, it was a model that was designed with an intent. It was very calculated in terms of how I designed the model of the business. I did not design it just to remain within the shores of Grenada or the shores of the Caribbean. It's a model that can be implemented in every country because every country has to feed its people, right? So it's about ensuring the development of the people and enhancing the lives and the creation of opportunities to harness talents and dreams, but agriculture has to be at your. So when I'm producing to fight against imports, and I'm producing to ensure that my countries have healthy and accessible and affordable food, at the same time, I'm trying to spread awareness and empower the next generation who's going to come up and see me as an example. Oh, well, she has done it. Let's get involved in agriculture. Let me be responsible of feeding my community. And how then can I use that by making money to ensure that can create a space that can now provide necessary resources. So somebody coming up in the next 5 years will not have to go through the challenges that I am currently facing or the challenges that I have faced prior, right? So I kind of build that model around that. It's a sustainable farm. Right now in Grenada, we have 300 acres and it's different sites, but every site is sustainable. Meaning in terms of, and I'll go down in a while in terms of what is the 4 elements of sustainability that I have molded the business around. But every farm is sustainable in its own right, meaning that we do not require any output from outside to make us profitable. We design our inputs and we ensure that our costs are down so that when we sell our product, it's affordable, so we're creating value, we get able to be self-sufficient. So down to our solar panels, down to our solar irrigation systems, down to our feed for our animals, we produce it out of the farm itself. We're using technology as well to make it more efficient, make it more consistent, and making the whole entire process at least attractive when the youth gets involved in it as well. So I spoke about sustainability, and I think it's the word that is loosely spread around right now, along with climate change and all of that. But what does sustainability mean for me? And at Akata Farms, it's about productivity. Now, we have a large import in Grenada, and we're talking about almost $10 billion US dollars annually in the Caribbean region. This is what we bring in terms of food in the Caribbean region. And one of the things that the challenges that we face as farmers is climate change, financing, inadequate access to funding, resources as technology, and even human capital, labor force is all affecting the way we produce. So at Africa Farms, we are very driven in terms of ensuring that our production is effective and is efficient, and that at the same time, we are able to expand, and we're able to put our products on the market, and there's consistent products. So we try to develop multiple channels or systems where we can produce, even the type of production is varies, because we have the hydroponics, we do the greenhouse farming as well, we do the traditional crops, and we do even container farming as well. Because I see that every crop has to be tailored to suit towards that efficiency. But at the same time, if I'm having young people coming to the farm, I want them to see there's different ways you can get to that end game, the different ways you can do it. And I did not start off with $1 million in my bank account. I started off with $0. So I still want to keep that traditional way of doing it, to show that, okay, you can start off with this, and this is how you can, if you're consistent, this is how we can become. So throughout the land, throughout the farm itself, you'll see various stages of operation and production, but production is essential. And in order for that to happen, I had to work along with the farmers, because I cannot do it alone. I had to build a farming network. I had to provide training, provide space where farmers can utilize digital technology to be able to produce more effectively and more efficiently. So it's not just me being able to sell something, produce on the market. It's about building together a network of farmers so that we can feed our country, and therefore in the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, we can be able to have that system there that the generation coming up will not have to start from scratch. The next stage is profitability. For some reason in the Caribbean, I think we fear money. We fear money. And we do not, oftentimes, do not connect agriculture with wealth. I do not understand why not. I mean, it's, to me, any endeavor, every enterprise that you create, there can be profit, there can be significant wealth to be earned. You just have to do it correctly in anything that you do. But profitability must occur. It's meaning, if I have to go from 300 acres to 10,000 acres, I can't do that just like a snap of a finger. I need resources, I need money to do that. And the thing about it is, I'm not the type of woman who wants to go and ask every time when I have an expansion. So what I did, I create multiple revenue streams on each farm. For example, we have crop production. We have 15 varieties of vegetables that we plant. We do fruits. We do fruits as well. We do spices. We do animal husbandry. We do poultry. We create value-added products. Every aspect of those production. We have tours and we have activities at the farm. We do training, we do consulting, and we even have, in terms of connecting with agriculture and tourism, we have agri-stay, so people can actually stay at the farm and experience that that environment. And that actually enables us right now to create the farm to table aspect, where we can create a meal and have lunches and breakfast and dinners at the farm that is 100% coming from it. Even our oils made from avocado, even our pasta made from sweet potato or breadfruit come from the farm. And then we make pastas with that, we make porridges with that. So it's self-sufficient, and that's what I see in terms of sustainability. That model can grow and can be modeled anywhere you go, but it's profitable. Money has to come in, right? But another aspect of that sustainability has to be in terms of the focus to empower people's lives. I went back, I spoke about the need for agriculture to work closely with the community and people. It's not just about employing people or providing some sort of training. It's about ensuring that they have consistent, healthy food that they can eat. It's about surpassing expectations of what agriculture is often seen as, and showing the possibility that it can become. It's about increasing our minimum wage. This is a big issue in Grenada. How can I employ people and ensure that they have good money so that they can achieve their dreams as well? So I factor in all of that in terms of my sustainability as a business and as a farm. And last, and I think it's the most important one, the way we do agriculture, we use a lot of land, we use a lot of water and all of that stuff. How can we have such large scale production and at the same time ensuring that our natural resources are protected? Our environment has to be maintained, the integrity of our soil, biodiversity, diversity in production itself. We have to do all of that because we have when we look at the world, the population of the world keeps increasing, right? And to be able to feed the world, that means we need to put down massive farms. But at the same time, we don't want to damage our natural resources. So I have to factor in how you go about your farming style, how you set up different farming systems. You have to pay particular attention to how the environment has to be protected, right? Well, at least that's how I see it in terms of being self-sufficient and sustainable, because I really do not want, when my children grow up, that they do not have quality lands to plant something, a fruit, or that our water source is damaged, or we don't have clean air, or we have pollution and stuff like that. So I factor in a lot of that. So that's basically our operations. And in terms of the tech side of it, we have evolved from, just as I said, the greenhouses to now systems where it can be totally automated using AI technology, using machine learning and robotics. And that has a lot to do with ensuring that our production is effective, our production is consistent. We have climate change as an issue. One particular crop should not be scarce throughout the year. And we have that done in Grenada. Right now, there's no lettuce on the market. And then by January, there's a flood of lettuce. There's no mango for a certain period of time. But I want to enjoy mango when mango is not in season. So how do you try to do that? How can you create a system that can have consistent foods? And then we have our import issue. As I mentioned before, how much the Caribbean has been imported, $10 billion annual, $10 billion US dollars annually in food. And across the world, when you see every country have an import issue. So the system we have really designed, it's really AI driven, where we can actually tap into countries and figure out what it is that they need, what fruit or vegetables, a commodity that they need. And we want to equip the farmers of the Caribbean to be able to do that. So that's a different model right there. But that is the model that we're going out. And so far we have connected over 1,500 farmers across the Caribbean region, equipping them with the necessary greenhouses and the technology to be able to produce to meet those markets. So it's a growing company. We're growing, we're not there yet. There's so much obstacles and challenges that we face. In terms of the challenges as a business, and I really want to stress that with you, it doesn't matter the field that you get involved with, you always encounter the challenges. Some of the challenges I've encountered from then was accessing land. I had to lease, and then I had to lease to purchase, and then I have in those revenue streams, I was able to invest the money and able to buy the lands and then expand and stuff like that. So that's how I grew. But even as I was growing, the challenges I encounter is a workforce. As I said, we do not have a mindset in Grenada where people want to get up and go in the morning and work a land. I don't know how it is in Ghana, but that is the reality of the situation. Parents will not encourage their children to get involved in agriculture because they have not seen it being successful. So how then do I get employees who are consistent and efficient, and I can leave them and travel and they're able to manage the farm in a productively? And it is a burden on our society. We cannot get efficient labor. So what I did, I partnered with our prison force, and I'm proud to say in Grenada, the largest farm on the island is in our prison, right? These guys, they are geniuses. They created their own biogas system. The best bread on the island is made by our prisoners. Our best ice cream on the island is made by our prisoners. So they are experienced with agriculture. So I said, listen, we have inmates, they have 120 guys, young guys who just made a mistake and not serious offenses. But, you know, a little tiff here and there, a little scuffle with someone, a little obscenity, they might send them up into prison. But they are skilled in agriculture. I said, this is a labor force I can use. So I partnered up with the prison force, and I was able to design a program where they were able to go to every farm on the island and help farmers to produce. So that actually solved our labor issue. But at the same time, we wanted to create programs where people who are genuinely interested in agriculture have the space to do so. So we partnered up with the training agencies. We have a pool of 50 young people who might be supervising these guys, trying to get involved in agriculture on their own. So that was one issue resolved. The other issue that you encounter is financing. I think that is a major thing for every country that you'll enter, and every business that you'll try to start is financing. Where do you get your money from? And when I first started off, as I said before, I had $0 and 0 cents. So what I did, I applied for a grant, a small grant, and then I started off with, I think I started off with 200 birds, 200 broilers, right? And I just started off. I knew nothing. I knew my father was involved in that sector before, but they failed. And I just like, well, it's a good way to make money. That people need birds. You know, we have a high poultry demand on the island. So, oh, it's a great thing. Let me start. I'm telling you, I'm not going to shit you. 6 months time, I had nothing to sell and I had failed. 6 months within that. And I was like, what did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? And it's a good thing. Sometimes failure is good. And I see it as not something to burden yourself with, but for you to learn where you went wrong. You step back. I stepped back away from the business for about a couple of months, so it was a month or two, to really figure out what went wrong. It wasn't the money. It was, for me, it was operational space, right? I didn't have enough space to have 200 birds and then have a space to have 200 coming up every time I went to slaughter. And I started back again. And then I failed within 3 months' time, because when I went to sell to a particular supermarket, they were telling me they wanted it plucked. Not, I used to do it by hands, right? They said, no, they needed machine plucked. I was like, well, we're getting money now to buy a machine. So the grant that I applied for, I had saved some, so I was able to buy a machine. And then I started again, and I was thinking, well, I could go and speak to the supermarket again. And they said, well, you do everything right, but your operation is not suitable for the large scale thing that we're looking for. I was like, well, they just tell me you need to plug in. I mean, I did that, you put me, you know. But these are the challenges I had to overcome. And then I did it. I learned the hard way. And then I was able to have a good financial setting by saving and investing the money. And then I was able to go from the 200 to 500, then to 2,000. Now in the organic birds, meaning that we make our own feed, there's a niche market that we supply. We do 5,000 birds a month. And then in the large scale, where we try to supply to the general public, we have over 20,000. We do ducks, we do turkey as well, and we do eggs along with the broilers. But financing has always been a challenge and will always continue to be a challenge. So I will encourage you to apply for grants. It doesn't matter if you have an NGO or you have a profit company. There are a lot of grants available that you can tap into, and then you can actually use that to fund your different projects and stuff like that. But I would also advise you that not just saving your money, but you have to invest it as well. I think we have to learn to invest our money and stuff like that. So that's one way to overcome the financial burdens as well. But if you're starting off with no money, I would suggest you to apply for grants. If you have an existing NGO or a profit business, there are a lot of grants, and I'm willing to share them with you as well. If there are a lot of programs, training programs that might be, I'm not sure the environment in Ghana, if those things will exist, where you have training programs where you can get access to financing just to start a project. But always look for these things, because starting off and going to a bank is a no-no. Even now, with some of the successes I have, me going to the bank to ask for any money, it's a heartache, it's a problem, because not just being young and being a woman, but agriculture is a high risk thing. And in Grenada, they don't see the vision that I see. So for me to encourage them or even to persuade them to give me money, it's going to take months, and I really don't have months. So that's why I kind of designed the business to create money, and I invested, and I still apply for grants because we do have community projects. And I do build myself a network of people who have the necessary resources. It might not need cash in hand, but if I have to set up or expand an irrigation system, I know who I need to call to say, you know what, do that for me. And then what I do in terms, if they're going to do that for me without cost, then I encourage them to come and share the story, give them a little media thing, kind of booster, stuff like that. So there are always ways to overcome these challenges as well. Climate change, another challenge that we have faced, from the traditional way that we did agriculture to now. The protective environment, the greenhouses and stuff, the solar powered and all of that irrigation system. These are things that, because of climate change, we had to do, as well as we wanted to maintain the integrity of our natural resources, our water and so forth. Even we have, like in Grenada, we only have 2 seasons. We have the rainy season and the dry seasons. Even too much water for crops is a problem. You have fields of watering vegetables and fruits. So how do you create a system that, even because of climate change and all of that, you can still be efficient? And I had to invest money into the greenhouses and so forth, and hydroponic systems and fruit farming. I had to do that. Another challenge is, for me, is the availability of raw materials. In Grenada, we do not produce anything, we don't manufacture anything, unlike Trinidad, who have brilliant manufacturing and agro processing. A lot of the irrigation systems or even the pipes and fittings we have to import, right? The seeds, we don't even have a seed bank here in Grenada. So you can imagine, if I need seeds, if I do not plant them for myself and have crops in the field, I'll be able to get a seed from that, I have to bring it in. Freight, and because of the freight issue and logistics, which is so high in imports, you can imagine the struggle that it is just to bring in something. But there are a lot of ways to overcome that, in terms of, apart from setting up your own seed bank or setting up your own nursery to have consistent supply of seedlings and crops. You can also partner with other farmers as well, pool your money, and therefore you could be able to buy larger stuff and bring them in. Now, it doesn't often work all the time. I am a farmer. I like to work by myself because I really don't have time to argue with other farmers, and they argue too much. So I normally just buy my stuff in bulks and have them there. I have my nursery set up. I even sell plants to other farmers as well. And but it's all part of being efficient, self-sufficient. I don't want to be dependent on too much things outside, because we know how the world is shaping right now. You know, it's a lot of inflation, this and inflation that. Everything happening in your island or your country is heavily influenced by the wider world. And that can really severely damage your business. So prepare taking attention to be more sufficient. What can you do, or what instruments you can input within your business so that you can be more self-sufficient. So that's the challenges I face. And then we go out, and that's the business side of it. The personal challenges, how you balance all of that, how you balance your social intelligence, or you balance your personal life, or you balance the way people see you, how you, for me, being a young woman from a third world country, I'm living in a paradise. I'm living in a beautiful island, tropical island in Caribbean. But there are a lot of challenges. Being a woman in agriculture, that bias, that gender equality is there. How do I overcome it? I lead by example, and I have adopted this mentality. I refuse to ask for anything. If I'm dealing with situations where, agriculture is highly dominated by men. Men think they know it all. You can't fault them. You can't fault them for that. But I tend to let my examples or my successes speak for themselves. So when I need something, or I feel that I need a change in a policy, or I need a government to do something, I need to be involved in decision making. So I'm good friends with the Prime Minister right now. He's just 35 years old, just elected in our island, the youngest Prime Minister in Grenada. but he has no idea about agriculture. So if I want to get certain policies done or certain information carried across or certain decision made, I want to be the person who directs them. So I have put myself on several boards, and I'm oftentimes I'm the youngest there, and I'm only female there. Power to women, but it can't be done. I'm just saying to say you have to know your environment and see what, or I would say, what niche you can capture for yourself. And I think to do that is by sharing your story and being very unapologetic about what you want in life. You have to be bold and you have to stand firm in your beliefs. And you just have to share your story and try to spread that awareness so other women can do the same, or even men as well. We are so bombarded with so much information and so much ideologies in our life, in the world today. Everybody have an opinion for something. That doesn't mean you have to take everyone's opinion, but you have to know exactly who you are and what you want in life and be firm about that. Whether you're male or you're female, you have to be firm about it. Be unbending. You could be in a room and everybody is against you. But you stand firm to your beliefs and you stand firm to your dreams and you say, you know what, it's okay. You give me $1 million and you want me to do this. You know what? Keep your money. I will do it this way. It's fine. It's fine to say no. It's fine to say no. Because not all money is good money, so I'd be very mindful of that. Or not every experience you might, every situation that's offered to you, you take it. So you have to be very mindful in what you want to do in life and who you want to become. So that's some of the things I had to learn in the process of building this company, and the many organizations I have founded or have joined, is being Bevon. There's 900 billion people in the world today, but there's only one Bevon, right? So I want to be able to have a presence, and I want to be able to have my story shared and let people understand by face value. When they see my face, they know the type of woman I am. They can't come with me with nonsense. But one thing too, you have to surround yourself with mentorship. And that's what I love about this program. And not just helping you learn the ins and outs of business or the ins and outs of agriculture, but they're going to help you with mentorship and building a mindset of becoming a leader, becoming somebody that your community can look up to. And with decisions being made, they're going to call you. You'll be like, oh, you know what? I heard this girl speak before. Or I saw this guy doing something with the school. Let me contact them. Let me share that. Let's bring them in the circle. And that is what I mean in terms of building that community around you, knowing the right people to talk to, because network is important. And sometimes you might need funding for something. You might need funding. And you'll be like, oh gosh, I need the money to do this today. And you don't have it. But sometimes just by the connection that you have, the people you have surrounded yourself with, you'll be like, you know what, Bev, let me pass you on to this person. I have had that experience already multiple times. Sometimes I don't even need the funding, but because I share that story, I share the experiences that the challenges that I'm facing, they say, you know what, Bev, let me introduce you to this person. And that's how I have grown, and I have been very appreciative. I've been very blessed and fortunate to have that circle around me. So I will encourage you to have that circle as well. It doesn't have to be a lot of people, 2 or 3. They need a mentor, someone experienced who can share with you the challenges that you face. And see, we are young. Oh my gosh, we're young. We have not even lived yet, right? We haven't lived it. We haven't encountered enough experiences yet to consider ourselves wise. So you have to surround yourself.
Interrupt you, but
oh, guys, I'm over. sorry. Let me wrap it up. So, I guess when we have the panel discussion, then you can ask me questions there, and But thank you so much. I hope I normally scream when I talk, but I hope you guys have had a clear idea of what it is that I'm doing and the mission that I'm trying to get that model across every country in the world, and we're able to feed ourselves in poverty and hunger and live fulfilling, prosperous lives. So thank you again for listening.
Thank you, Bevon. And I know students, you have questions. I ask you to put them in the chat so we won't lose any opportunity. Even if somebody might be not here, we will still answer your question. It is being recorded. We will share this after. I'm asking Esther to join briefly and give us a presentation. Just to introduce Esther, Esthy Ama Asante, commonly known as Esthy, is an award-winning entrepreneur and the founder, owner, and CEO of 2 successful online businesses, Virtual Linguistic Solutions and Organic Trade and Investment. She was born in Ghana, raised in France, and has worked for various multinational corporations in Ghana and has championed managerial roles in radically different industries. She was formerly the relocation manager at Executive Relocations Africa, a subsidiary of AGS Movers. She masterminded the digitalization of the operations management system of OTI, which currently integrates 12,000 farmers and 300 small-scale manufacturers across Africa. Well done. This powerhouse entrepreneur has been honored with a number of recognitions. In 2018, she received the Best Female E-Commerce Entrepreneur Award. In March 2020, she was the only Ghanaian to be conferred the African Global Trade and Investment Excellence Award for Trade and Investment Facilitation Excellence. She has been featured in many publications, and thanks to her impressive achievements and her company's performance in increasing sales during COVID crisis by 1,900%. Well done, Esther. Esther is a member, a coach, and an independent consultant for the She Trades Commonwealth Ghana project. Handing over to Esther, who will present for about 5 minutes, and then we'll go right into our panel discussion. So I ask you to put your questions in the chat. The panelists are going to be guided by a few questions I have provided to them, but I also ask you to join the conversation. We'll try wrapping up here latest 15 minutes after 4. Esthy, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Maki. So this is Organic Trade and Investment. What we do is we combine technology with agribusiness. We don't have an office, we don't have warehouse, we don't even have the the place or whatsoever to do business. Everything is online. So we are the first virtual company in the world. What we do is we are working from home, and we currently are 9 in total as a team. We ship to over 42 countries. Now it's 45. We have over 100 products on our website. We are represented in 9 regions or countries. And we are currently working with 100,000 farmers. So it's no more 12,000, we have increased. What we were doing is we analyze the program in the system, and you will see that access to market, capacity building, or access to finance were some of the challenges that we identified in the system, but those challenges were for us solutions. So some of the solutions we put in place was how to create a community whereby we could just give them the capacity building, connect them to the market, provide them with the finances, and then integrate them into the business through digitization of our operations. These advantages helped us will become the company that we are today, present in 9 countries, and we have a special department for our R&D department, which is the company or the department driving the company in terms of data collection, digitalization of the company. This is our business model. So we are a B2B company. As you can see here, we are really into e-store, e-commerce. And how we do that is just that you can buy from our website, because we are dealing with only manufacturers, we are dealing with big companies, and what they do is they just pick it from us and then they resell it. So basically, it's a platform that is just for manufacturers or distributors. These are some of our products, and as you can see, we are telling a story. So even if someone is buying our product, they still have to mention the name. You see some of our black soap. Now we are able to produce over 150,000 bars of black soap. And these soaps are being sold in South Africa, everywhere in the world for $5 per bar. Some of our products are cocoa butter, which is being used by big companies for chocolate making. You have the Fonio. We are also listed on Alibaba and Amazon in other countries, Saudi Arabia and India, and you will see proudly written "Made in Ghana" shea butter. This is a story we are telling. So these are some of our partners. You have Zim Trade, And this is, you will see, we're also into horticulture. Now the business model is very simple. We are the global market here, and we are selling to the manufacturers, importers, or representative, and in return, these people will sell back to the distributors, and the distributors will sell back to the individual sellers or individuals, consumers, and that's how we do business. So for traction, for instance, so far, we've done more than $1.5 million. And this is a company that started very little, with nothing, let me say. And today, that's where we are. We are very proud. And we are scaling with the MESC Africa. And the strategy that we are using is direct geography expansion and geography expansion with others, because in this kind of business, it's about partnership. And it's more than partnership, it's co-competition. It means you can be my competitor, but I'm still partnering with you to grow the market together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well done. Well done. I think the last session we had, somebody had asked for these presentations. So if you want to make them available to these students and agripreneurs, please send it on to me by email. We will share it with them. Well done, Esthy. You are fully e-commerce, fully online. I was thinking Manuel would be interested in your presentation, and he joined while you were presenting. He's into agri-tech as well. But good afternoon, students. We are about to start our panel. Esthy, can I ask you to turn on your videos? I'm gonna put you center, spotlighting. Our student, Wendy Ann. Is Wendy with us? I was told she'll be a little bit late, but I'm not seeing her. A female student is supposed to join us, but I'm not seeing her. Good afternoon, lovely ladies. It is a pleasure to have you join us today. Of course, I am female, but I think men must also understand the power that women bring, because we were created to support and supplement each other. And sometimes the male perspective is a little bit different to the female perspective. But I've been fortunate to work for very diverse teams. And whenever you have that diversity, you just only get a richness. You really just get a richness, because the way that the man thinks, the way that the woman thinks, just complement each other. So I'm really pleased to have two successful, we would say in the Caribbean, and even America, bad mama jammers, who online doing some amazing work. And we are bringing this to you, students. This is not a fancy story in Hollywood that seems like a dream and I can't accomplish this. They are coming to your level. They're sharing their story, not because they want to show off, because they want to inspire you to do more than they have done. And like I say to my nieces and my nephew, to do it even faster. Yeah, because some of us, we literally had to create our own path, create our own door. We had to knock down whatever obstacles on our way that's still there. But it is possible for you. So both of them mentioned the importance of sustainability, right? You even know Esthy doesn't even have a literal office or a warehouse, right? You heard Bevan speak about biogas, spoke about hydroponics, using the technology so that her farm becomes self-sufficient. What questions, let me see if there are any questions from the students, because I will start with my list of questions and then you can join me accordingly. So tell me, Esther, how long have you been in the agriculture space and how did you get there?
Okay, that's the funny question, because how long? So I would say that since 2015, that's when the dream, my dream came true. I was on a platform for expatriates, and one guy from Egypt asked the question, I need griffonia, I need shea butter, I need cocoa butter. And that's where I went and I said, yes, we can. And that day was, who is we? Because I didn't even have a company. And he comes back to say, what's your MOQ? I'm like, what MOQ, what is that? So I have to go on Google to check what the MOQ is in export. And I realized that it's minimum order quantity, maximum order quantity. But as a quality person, I just have to put everything together. He came back again to me to say, what's your FFA? What is, I said, I don't know anything, but I can't go back to tell him, I don't know that. I'll look like a clown because I've already said we can. So I just have to go online and check the people who are in the business in that sector. And during lunchtime, I'll just line them up. And then I'll ask them the question that the guy asked me. I just throw it back to them as if I'm a boss, you know. And then I put everything together nicely and I send it to him. And he was like, okay, now I want a sample. So I sent the sample to him. He loved the sample, and that's how it started. But along the way, I failed because I was not really concentrated, and I was just focusing on the big companies to supply me. I was just doing trading. And this is where I realized that if I don't get involved myself, then my reputation will be at stake. And that is where organic trade investment started. But it's not just, it's only in 2017 we registered a company, and in 2019 we started operation. Why 2 years long? Because we have to do the market feasibility, put everything in place, ensure that we are really ready to hit the market. And when we did, I think we did very well. So that's how my journey started.
Beautiful. I love when people share that they didn't even start in this space. 2015, and you said it almost like with faith, because you had no company, you had no real plan, but you said, I can do this. I want to do this. Thank you. Bevon, tell us about you. I know you've shared in your introductory presentation a lot. How long have you been in this space? And I know you're young, you can share your age.
No. Yeah, I grew up around agriculture. I did not start the business until 2016. Okay. But I did not start making profit until like 2019, because there was a lot of groundwork getting to cover, a lot of things to get the land, building that team, finding funding and all of that stuff. I didn't want to start. I was kind of hesitant really starting and put myself in debt. But I think the trial and error stage, I had to go through that, starting small and then failing that. And then I was like, you know what, I think I've covered the bases. I would encounter the problems, fine, but let me go ahead. And I went from 2 acres to 100 acres, right? Just like that.
Wow.
And yeah, so I really started making revenue just after 2019, but we got registered in 2016. But it's been an amazing journey, a lot of ups and downs. But today we have each challenge and each success has made us become who we are. So I'm very fortunate for that.
Well, that is my next question. Tell me some of those ups and downs.
You know,
at least 2 of your biggest challenges, and then Esthy, I go to you, so you can also share 2 of your biggest challenges. Remember, we have female entrepreneurs here too, and we have male entrepreneurs. Sometimes I find the young men don't have a clue what we go through, you know.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, oh, that's not happening. And then only when they empathize, like, oh wow, that's because you're a woman, then they're shocked. So share with them some of the experiences so they can know to be better allies for us as well. Go ahead.
In the challenges as of the business definitely have to be the workforce, getting the workforce in place, getting funding, getting the land, and developing a market that was for the business. In personal wise, I never wanted to be bounded by society's expectations. I have always done things my way. So I had my kids before the business started, like really taking off. And so sometimes I was not making the revenue that I want, and I'd be like, okay, do I feed my children or do I pay my workers? So I was like torn there, but of course the workers had to be paid. I can depend on my family to feed my girls. But it's just little things that actually make you realize the reason why you chose that career. But balancing the business, balancing my personal life has always been an issue, but I always took time for myself. Fortunately, I have a good family. I have a good, my good family surroundings, so I was very good like that. But balancing that is important. Balancing that peace of mind, that quiet moment for you to create, that is essential. So balancing that is a challenge as well. And then, of course, the funding, being able to really stay in line with the values of the business, staying in line with the mission. Sometimes opportunities come and you get, so bombarded and your eyes get open. But staying true to that mission and that end game is important. So if I had to sum it up, it's challenge based on yourself, your integrity, and the business side, of course, the funding and the workforce and stuff like that.
Thank you. Esthy, what are some of the biggest challenges for you?
First and foremost, I just want to thank the men in Ghana. You are fantastic, because I have never, ever gone through such an issue being a woman and not having access to anything just because of my gender. They've been very supportive. The challenges we are going through, regulatory problems, government issues, infrastructure, you have high cost of products or raw materials. So that is going to affect the cost of product as well, because we are not being competitive enough compared to other markets. But we always find ways and means to work around this, to be very creative. For instance, shipping goods from Africa to Europe is cheaper than shipping goods from Africa to Africa. And so what we've done is that, yes, it's one of the biggest challenges right now. And that's why I hope that the African Continental Free Trade area is really going to be the solution of our problems, and not just a white elephant on paper. And the thing here is, what we try to do is we collaborate with other people, and we do consolidated shipment, especially for new clients. And we just tell them, you know, we are in business together. What we can do is, you are also shipping to the US, so why don't you ship on a quarterly basis? And by so doing, most of them are women. We are trying to have, a solution to the challenges we are already facing. So that part of it has been solved by ourselves, but there are still issues in terms of mechanization of the agricultural sector. We are not telling government to industrialize it. We are telling them to mechanize it. And that is the issue. And private sectors cannot do it on their own if the work frame is not there for us to maneuver. These are the challenges. Thank you.
Wow, those are genuine challenges. The need for mechanization, infrastructure, regulatory, the AFC, TFT. Let's see what they do. Huh? Let's give them some time to hopefully get themselves together. But now is a space, and following COVID, everybody suddenly wants to get involved in agriculture. Matter of fact, when the student body reached out to me, I was a little bit surprised, like, okay, you want to learn how to be an agribusiness? And I myself wondered, like, okay, let's see how I can help them. Now, I come from a background where my parents used to have our own gardens and farms, where there's corn, pigeon peas, bananas, that had cows, goats. So I grew up in this. I know this. I didn't choose this as a part for me. I still have siblings who are involved in agriculture, some small scale or larger scale. And now suddenly everybody's growing their own food since COVID. There's lots of talk, but you're wondering, is it a fad, or are people understanding the necessity to take advantage of the opportunities? And I see, Bevan, you're nodding. What opportunities are there for our young people? They are going to class. They have fantastic ideas. Right now, a lot of them preparing to pitch for our competition November 1. So I know they have ideas. But one of the things I want to stretch with them is that sometimes where you start, it's just a start. You expand, you expose to new areas, you end up doing something totally different, or something much larger and much more successful than you started out, because you didn't limit yourself to one little box. So what opportunities exist in this agri-tech, agri-food, agriculture space, especially since post-COVID? So I asked Bevan to share, and then we'll jump back to Esthy. Wendy should be joining us as a student representative. I know she was a little bit late. If you are here, please send me a message and I will add you to the discussion. Go right ahead, ladies.
Thank you. So yeah, after, during COVID, and even after COVID, we saw in Grenada an increase in the numbers of farmers, backyard farming, backyard gardening organizations set up to work with homes to set up farms actually. So we saw an increase in that. And I asked myself, is this going to last, or is this just a phase? Because we have a tendency in Grenada to jump on a hot wagon when things are, need, and then it just go back to the same nonsense, right? And even now, and I think we have forgotten the drama of COVID and have gone back to our old ways, because there's a lot of scarcity on the market right now. You can't find produce. So that means people are not planting. It's just like a hype at one point. But there's always opportunity. There's always opportunity. Just even that demand for consistent food, we have to feed people. We need farmers to do that, but we also need new instruments of how we farm, the systems that we set up. We need to just getting involved with the hydroponic systems. We still have import majority of our units from Trinidad or overseas. So that opportunity for people to get involved in the designing stage of it even as well, or new types of technology in agriculture. We have seen, I've worked along with other farmers setting up the website and e-commerce shops and subscription spaces, so households can now buy food in advance and have it delivered to your homes. There's opportunities for that as well. Areas of agri-tech and designing software. Listen, there's so much opportunities. The thing is, how do you access it? How do you get information where it is sent out, or how do you position yourself to get the information? I think that is the challenge. So I always try to encourage people to align yourself with, listen, just apply a subscription. If you see something coming out on Forbes or Google, or just apply for things. You never know where you might lead. Never sell yourself short. Apply for stuff. I remember I applied for you mentioned the award that I got. I just applied for it randomly. I didn't think I've gotten anywhere. And then bam, I got selected and I became the regional winner for the Caribbean. But if I had not just taken the bold step to apply, I would not have won that. And that opened up a window of opportunity. That happened to you, actually.
Okay, but I know you're doing very modest. You won a Commonwealth Award, and then you won U.S. Embassy Award. Tell us about that. Those are opportunities. How
opportunities I'm coming with. I was coming to that. Yeah. So it's, as I said, sometimes we feel as we are not ready yet, or we are not positioned correctly, or who are we to be involved in these things? That imposter syndrome, we have to just get rid of that as Black people. We have to put ourselves in position to obtain these opportunities. So because of that award, I was able to expand the business, get funding for that, and that opened new doors. I got to meet people. I got to join the U.S. State Department. I got to meet President Biden and Kamala Harris. I was able to sit down and formulate new regional strategies based on meeting them, just by being able to be in the room at the time and letting them know, oh, this is what I'm doing in small integrator for the Caribbean. But it all starts by you taking a step. There are lots of programs, or there are lots of fellowships. It might not be paid fellowships, it might not be paid internships. You have to take it and just learn. I saw one coming for Ghana just the other day, some with the UN something. I think it's a paid internship. I'm telling you to apply for that, just to learn the experience, just to get himself involved in what they're doing, just the policy, just learning. Sometimes you meet people you would never expect to meet. And I am part of a lot of international organizations, and I'm called here and there to meet people. But sometimes I attend these things just to make the connections, because when I meet other people, be like, I'm trying to do this. And I'll be like, you know what, I met this person, let me link. I'm like a connector, I'm like a connector. So that's what I'm telling you. Reach out to me if you have something you're trying to do, some sort of program you're looking for. You never know, I might be able to tap you into that as well. But apply for everything that you enter, apply for opportunities, and try. I don't know how it is done in Ghana, because we have Facebook, we have a lot of things over social media, and sometimes information is still not getting to you. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I can't really explain how do you position yourself to get it, but I just read a lot, and I'm fast. I'm fast like that. So I just apply. Oh, there's one thing I think I can send to you. Do you have a email listed of everybody? Because I would like to. I don't think I can get it now. Perhaps when Esther is speaking, I can find it and share it in the chat. But it's an organization that presents a lot of grant scholarships and NGO. Listen, it's opportunities, huh? So I'm gonna send that in the chat. So it's a start. So I can do. It's a start. I'm not sure if everyone.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think everyone has said it all, but I just want to add on that data collection is gold now, it's money. And as a company in Africa, if we don't have data, like B1 was saying, information is key. You wouldn't know what is going on. So right now, I would tell people who want to be in technology plus agri sector is really appraise yourself with data collection. How do you collect the data? How do you analyze your data? What do we do with the data? And this is what we are using at OTI. Also, the career paths involve everything from organic crop farming. And when I say organic, it doesn't mean that you go on the motorway and then you are starting planting things. No, organic means organic. Don't target organic just because you said you haven't used any fertilizer. It should be really organic standard. It also include horticulture. Most of it, like today you read in the newspaper that we are importing tomatoes from Burkina Faso, millions of dollars. Why can't we do that in Ghana? Then you have the food processing. Why should we import food already processed? Why can't we process our own food? Establishing a packaging material company. All the packaging material we are using in Africa are imported from China or India, and export trade of semi-finished and transformed agricultural produce. Why should we ship the raw materials? Why can't we transform it here? Even the cocoa, why should we ship the cocoa beans? And why don't you transform it into powder or cocoa butter as we are doing? And then other companies will use that to do their finished products, such as for creams, shampoos, or chocolate making. And then raising livestock like Vivon is doing, these are some of the opportunities out there for you. And then also you have to build, when you are coming in the system, have this mindset, think without a box. Don't have any box at all. And come up with ideas to build sophisticated technologies, such as apps that will help farmers to be more productive and competitive regarding moisture sensor, GPS technologies, all of it. So if you are coming, come and add something to the section. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a mouthful, students. I hope you're taking your notes. I hope you're recording this. I hope you're starting to understand that the world is your oyster, is your playground. Literally, if you believe it and you go after it, these opportunities will become clearer and clearer to you. If you sit and you wait for somebody to bring it to you, not gonna happen. So we're gonna wrap up with this question. If students have any questions, agripreneurs have any questions, put it in the chat. They kind of answered some of them, so I didn't ask all of them. What would you say to a young entrepreneur who's hearing all this fantastic stuff, but a little bit nervous about making the move? What would you say to them so that they can decide it's time for me to launch out? And how do you feel about the future of agriculture and agri-tech and all of this lovely, amazing conversation? So Esthy, you could go first.
Okay, perfect. So I'm telling the people, agripreneur, no need for you to be nervous because the future is now. Okay, so you are going to be, millions of lives are going to depend on entrepreneurs in the agriculture space because we are here to feed the nation. And as an entrepreneur, your aim is to bring about solutions to the many problems we have already identified in the sector. Don't forget that Africa, we are still dependent on importation of food. Recently, I read that we imported per year not less than $30 billion. Okay, so it has tripled by, our imports capacity has tripled. And yet in Africa, what we have here is that we have over 60% of our lands are arable lands there. So it means that we could use that to even feed ourselves as the population is growing, but also feed the world if you want it. We have to diversify the crops we are using currently. We have fonio, bambara, and so it's very important that it's not now that you are going to be nervous. I mean, the way to being successful is through agriculture. So really get prepared. We are here. Some people have already paved the way for you. Just knock at the door. Don't feel too bossy. Don't feel shy. We will always hold your hands to be there because we've already made the mistakes. So being nervous is not the solution. Thank you.
Thank you. Well said. Well done. Bevon, you can wrap up.
I love that. I like the part when she said, we have gone through the mistakes already. And I kept going back saying, just surround yourself with knowledge, yeah? Because we don't want you to encounter the same challenges that we have faced. We want to pave a better platform for you, so you can just take your ideas and run with it. There's no need to feel nervous or feel hesitant or to feel, or self-doubt that they're going to fail or anything. It's part of the process. So it's part of the process. But know that you have a community of people there to support you. I always willing to share my knowledge and my experience. And majority of people I have met are willing to do so. So you just have to ask and let them know what it is that you want to do, and they're willing to help. It's okay. I mean, sometimes too, sometimes I feel frustrated as well. I do feel that as well. So you experience that. That's part of life. That's part of life. But while you're living, you want to live a rich, filled life. You want to walk in your community and feel, oh yeah, I have done this. I have helped this person to do this. You want to, everybody wants to do great things in life. But have you figured out exactly what it is I want to do? So you have to know that first. What it is I want to do, the impact you want to make, and just go ahead. Just go for it. Don't stop yourself. You'll have naysayers here and there. Even your families will be like, that's all right. Let them talk. You just keep your head down and keep your vision in front of you and just be bold and take risks. There's no success without risk. There's no challenges without success. So I just encourage you. Just start. You have to just start. You can't talk about wanting to achieve things if you don't make that first step to actually get going. So
thank you. I like the future is now, and I like there's no success without risk. That's my takeaway. I want to encourage you to just be the best. We have a question for Manuel. How do you ensure your business adapt to the latest technologies or trends in agriculture innovation? So anybody could take a stop at it. How do you ensure your businesses adapt to the latest technologies or trends in agriculture innovation? And if there are no more questions, I will just give you guys a highlight of our Rise and Pitch competition on November 1. I'll tell you some more about the prizes you should be winning. So stay tuned. We will soon wrap up. Panelists?
I think for me, it's I like to be ahead of the curve. I like to know exactly what is happening before it happens. So research, knowing what's happening in the world. For example, with the war in Ukraine, how that affected the Caribbean significantly to getting feed. But the thing is, I have been doing my own feed as well, so that didn't stop me. While everybody in Grenada was panicking, like, oh, price and feed going up. It's like, I'm good with that. So I think is pushing yourself in a position where you get the information beforehand, or at least preparing for trouble when trouble comes, right? In terms of the technology, I don't think there's no technology right now that is not actually being implemented in different countries. I think it's just the adoption of it. But you can research and see what is being done. I don't think there's any new idea that's having been thought of. Everybody's doing things. Just you have to be, concise in what is being done and how you can take that, mold it, adapt it, tweak it, and make it suitable for your environment, right? But it all comes back down to the access of that knowledge and being there to be able to receive it. And then you can adapt to it and, stuff like that. So for me, it's just about the data, knowing what is there and how I can access it and stuff like that.
Thank you. Esthy, you can wrap us up.
Yeah, absolutely. Vivian has said it once again. But what I want to add on to is that don't follow the mass. You are the pace, and set the pace. So I remember in 2015 when I was starting OTI, and I said it's going to be 100% a virtual company. They look at me like I came from Mars, right? But when you are in business, it's like you are the owner of your idea. You make it happen, and people will follow your dream. Whenever they wake up and they follow you. And during COVID, for instance, because we're already online and we have created that presence, we make sales and we boost the sales by 1,300% overnight. You get my point? So it's about, like Vivian was saying, know what is trending, understand the data you are collecting. But the thing here is focus on your ideas. The idea that you have, most of the ideas I'm having and today I'm implementing, I was 15 years old, 20 years old when I had those ideas. And they told me it's not possible. Well, the word impossible for me is I'm possible. So it's not about people, it's about you. Do crazy stuff and people will follow anyway.
I love that. I love that. We will end on that. I love that. Impossible means I'm possible. Do crazy things. Listen, I support, I endorse. Listen, make it happen. It is your life. It is your story. Go and be great. Today is our last webinar. We've been meeting for the last 4 weeks. We've completed our 4 boot camps, our 2 webinars. We've had 4 weeks of business coaching. We have 1 more week to go where we select our finalists. Right now, we're at 8 finalists. And we want to thank students for making the time to make it happen. I know some of you live very far. Internet is not as reliable. Challenges to even make the times, clashing with other classes, but you're here today and we want to say thank you. Just to remind you, we have 2 upcoming events. Where is this? So we have our digital training. Let me see if I'm opening the right thing. Yes. You have your digital training session. The last session is on Friday. So come. Last week they did websites. The first week they did social media. Things that you need to learn. You heard Esthy share that her entire business is virtual. She doesn't go to any farm. Her sales almost 1,300% insane. Come understand these tools are available for you. Make the time so you can learn how to use them. They're not difficult. And our Rise and Pitch competition is on November 1. These are our judges. Dr. Ife Kanu, she's the founder of IntelliDigest. She's into food waste, based out of Scotland. She would also be providing one of our internships. We have Fabian Anthony. He's a member of the top 100 most influential people of African descent. He's an entrepreneur, an investor who specializes in sub-Saharan Africa. We have Cheryl Anker Newton. She's based in Ghana, Trinidadian I think she's British by birth, Trinidadian by socialization, but based in Ghana right now. She's the co-founder of Illuminate Africa Group. She has a cashew farm out there. She'll be one of our judges. And Alex Darko, he's the CEO and co-founder of Menu Finder Africa. Next week, we'll have our last business coaching session. November the 1st, we have our Rise and Pitch, and we end. Just to give you an idea of some of our prizes, our first place winner will be getting 10,000 Ghana CD, 2 tickets to the South Africa Innovation Summit. This is specializing in a food tech program, a paid internship, mentorship for 3 months, and somebody might just throw in flight to the destination of the internship. So we want to make sure you come and get these prizes. They are done for you. We have our second place, 5,000 Ghanaian, the ticket, internship, mentoring, and all the prizes up to the top 5 will be getting prizes. Everybody have an opportunity to get mentorship, but our internships are only for our top 5 students. So we want to encourage you to come out and make sure, invite your friends. And like I say, invite your enemies too. They might change when they have some more knowledge. Invite everybody and make sure they're there for our last session on November 1. Thank you, Bevan. Thank you, Esthy. Young people, I know you like to be in touch, so I asked Bevan and Esthy to share your contact information in the chat. Reach out to them. Don't be shy. And if you're shy, you could just say, hi, I like your presentation, and then proceed to ask a question. The world is yours. Information is available for you to do amazing things. And I just want to say we are looking forward to continue to work with the university and see what greatness we can help impact. So if there are no more questions or comments, I say thank you, everybody. Look in your chat. Esthy has provided her email, her website, and her number because she's based in Ghana, and this is University of Ghana. So you have her right next to you. And we have Bevan providing her email and WhatsApp as well. She's available. I am already reaching out to Bevan. I need some of those opportunities for this program. But definitely we'll be in touch. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic afternoon. Yes, just check them out on LinkedIn. Bye-bye. Take care. We're seeing baby girl giving us bye-bye in the back. Thank you, everybody.